My child, stop for a moment. Do not rush past this. Do not treat this as one more sound in the noise, one more message in the stream, one more thing that appeared before your eyes and could just as easily disappear. This did not arrive in your feed by accident. You did not come across these words randomly. I interrupted the movement around you because this word was assigned to find you, and I have brought it through timing, delay, distraction, resistance, and every unseen barrier so it could stand before you at this exact hour. Listen closely, my beloved child, because I am not speaking to frighten you. I am not stepping into your attention to make you anxious, not to corner your heart, not to stir fear in the place where I have been trying to plant peace. I am speaking because I love you too deeply to let you miss what I have placed in front of you. I know how many things have been pulling at your mind. I know the messages, the worries, the tasks, the burdens, the questions that have been pressing against your spirit. I know how quickly your attention has been scattered, and I know how tired you have become from trying to discern what is from me and what is only noise. But this, my child, was routed by heaven. The world may call it an algorithm, but I moved through what the world cannot understand. I touched the timing. I allowed the delay. I restrained what would have hidden it. I moved around the distractions that would have stolen this moment from you. I did not send this too early, because your heart was not ready to receive it. I did not send it too late, because I have not forgotten the hour I appointed. I sent it now, because now is the moment where your spirit is able to recognize my voice beneath the noise. And I know the question rising inside you even as you listen. Why now? Why did this reach me after I prayed and waited, after I cried in silence, after I doubted whether anything was changing, after I wondered if I had been forgotten? Why now, after the closed doors, after the delays, after the strange stillness, after the season where you kept looking for a sign and felt as though heaven had gone quiet? My child, I saw all of it. I saw the tear you wiped away before anyone entered the room. I heard the prayer you were too weary to finish. I watched you keep going while carrying questions you did not know how to explain. So stay with me. If this already feels like it was meant for you, respond in faith. Like this video as an act of agreement, not for attention, but as a small outward sign that your heart is listening. Subscribe for the words I am sending in season, because I am teaching you to recognize when I am speaking, and stay until the end, because the prayer at the close is not an extra piece. It is part of the release. I brought this word to you on purpose. I cleared the way for it to reach your eyes. Now let your heart become still enough to receive what I have been preparing to say. My child, I saw the resistance around your attention before you even recognized it as resistance. I saw the sudden tiredness that came over you when you were about to listen. I saw the strange heaviness that pressed against your chest. I saw the way your mind began reaching for another distraction, another scroll, another sound, another reason to leave this moment before it could reach the place in you I intended to touch. You thought it was only fatigue. You thought it was only habit. You thought it was only the normal restlessness of a weary mind. But I am telling you with tenderness and authority, not everything fighting your focus is natural, and not every urge to turn away is innocent. Your adversary did not fear your weakness as much as your awakening. Hear me clearly, beloved. He has watched you tired, and he has watched you wounded, and he has watched you question yourself, but what he trembles at is the moment you begin to hear me again. He does not panic when you are merely busy. He does not tremble when you are only distracted. He begins to resist when your spirit starts rising from confusion, when your heart starts recognizing my voice. When the fog begins to lift, and you remember that you are not abandoned, not uncovered, not forgotten, and not powerless. That is why the battle around this moment has felt heavier than the moment itself seemed to require. I saw the late-night anxiety that tried to make your thoughts louder than my whisper. I saw the voice that said, "This is not for you." I saw the doubt that tried to dress itself as wisdom, telling you not to believe too deeply, not to hope too quickly, not to receive this word because disappointment has already hurt you before. I saw the memories that rose up just as peace began to come near. I saw the old fear tapping at the door of your heart, reminding you of what did not happen, what failed, what closed, what fell apart, what made you wonder if trusting me again would cost too much. My child, those interruptions were not random. They gathered around your attention because this word carried something your spirit needed to receive. And I was not absent while that resistance moved around you. I was not standing far away watching you struggle to hear me on your own. I was guarding the route. I was holding back what would have overwhelmed you. I was delaying what needed delay, restraining what needed restraint, and pushing this word through the places where it could have been buried. I saw the block in front of you, and I saw the block behind you. I saw the visible interruptions and the invisible interference. I saw the distractions you blamed yourself for, and I saw the pressure you could not explain. I was there in the room with you when your thoughts scattered. I was near when your soul felt strangely heavy. I was covering you even when you thought you were simply trying to pay attention. Do not condemn yourself for the battle you have been feeling. Do not mistake resistance for failure. The fact that it was difficult to stay still does not mean you are far from me. Sometimes the struggle to listen is proof that what is being spoken matters. Sometimes the pressure that rises before a word is received reveals the weight of what that word carries. If this were empty, it would not have been opposed. If this were meaningless, your attention would not have been fought over with such persistence. If this were just another message, the heaviness would not have tried to settle over you at the very moment I was calling you into clarity. So breathe, my child. Let your shoulders lower. Let your mind stop racing for just a moment. You are not losing the battle because you felt the resistance. You are witnessing my faithfulness because the resistance did not stop this word from reaching you. The block did not win. The distraction did not win. The heaviness did not win. The voice that told you to skip past this did not win. I brought you here anyway. I held the line until this moment arrived. I made sure the word assigned to your spirit found you, even through the noise, even through the doubt, even through the exhaustion, even through the unseen pressure that tried to pull your attention away. Now understand what this means. If this message has reached you, then something has already been overcome. If you are still listening, then a barrier has already been broken. If your heart is beginning to soften, if your spirit is beginning to lean in, if even a small part of you is saying, Lord, I need to hear this, then the resistance has already lost ground. Stay with me, beloved. Do not turn away at the edge of recognition. I saw the battle around your attention, and I brought my voice through it because what I am about to speak is connected to the place where you have been waiting for me to move. My child, the silence you have been carrying was not a wall. It was not me turning my face away from you. It was not proof that your prayers fell to the ground, and it was not evidence that I stopped listening when your strength became thin. What you called silence was a covered road. What you called delay was protection. What you called unanswered was often my hand moving quietly in places you could not see, clearing what would have harmed you if I had let you rush forward before the path was ready. I heard the prayers you could not finish. I heard the sentence that broke in your throat because the tears came faster than the words. I saw the tears you wiped away quickly before anyone noticed. I knew the ache you never explained to anyone because you did not know how to explain it without sounding tired, wounded, or afraid. I saw you sit with questions that had no clean language. I saw you look strong while something inside you kept asking, Lord, are you still here? Lord, did I miss you? Lord, did I do something wrong? And I am answering that ache now with tenderness. My silence was not rejection, beloved. My quiet was not abandonment. I was closer than the fear allowed you to feel. There were things I could not show you yet because seeing them too early would have pulled you into striving. There were answers I did not release visibly because the visible answer was not the first thing that needed to move. I was dealing with people. I was dealing with timing. I was dealing with motives, both in you and around you. I was untangling fear from your discernment. I was separating my voice from confusion. I was closing premature doors that looked like opportunity, but would have become a burden, a trap, or a detour. You asked me for movement, and I was moving, but I was moving beneath the surface before I moved in front of your eyes. Do not measure my faithfulness only by what you can see changing. There are obstructions that announce themselves loudly, and there are obstructions that hide behind familiar faces, familiar patterns, familiar desires, and familiar fears. There are doors that open too soon and call themselves blessings. There are voices that sound supportive but carry pressure instead of peace. There are opportunities that flatter the wounded part of you while pulling you away from obedience. So I held you. I slowed you. I covered the road. I did not allow you to force what would have fractured you. I did not allow you to build your next step on panic, loneliness, urgency, or the need to prove that you were not forgotten. You were not stuck in a forgotten place. Hear me clearly. You were being held before a door. You were being kept at the threshold while wrong voices lost access to your next step. You were being steadied while old fears lost authority over your decision. You were being hidden while I moved certain hands away from what they were never meant to touch. You thought the waiting meant nothing was happening, but the waiting was full of my protection. The door was not refusing you. The road was not closed forever. I was making sure that when it opened, you would not walk through carrying the same confusion that once made you vulnerable. And yes, my child, even this message had a root. I did not speak loudly before because I was arranging the path this word would travel. I was waiting until fear could not steal it from you the way fear stole other moments. I was waiting until your heart was tired enough of running but still soft enough to receive. I was waiting until the noise around you weakened, until the false urgency lost some of its grip, until the hidden resistance could not swallow the very word assigned to bring you back into alignment. I did not delay because I forgot the address of your spirit. I delayed because I knew exactly how to reach you. So release the accusation you have been holding against the waiting. Release the thought that says, the quiet season proved you were overlooked. Release the shame that says if you had more faith, the answer would have come sooner. I was not punishing you in the silence. I was preparing you in it. I was not blocking you from blessing. I was blocking what would have corrupted the blessing before you could carry it well. The delay was not proof that I left you. The delay was proof that I loved you too much to let you enter the next place uncovered. My child, now I am showing you what I have been doing behind the silence. I have not only been comforting you while blocks remained in place, I have been removing them. I have been taking down what stood in front of you, what pressed behind you, what surrounded your mind, and what hid beneath the surface where your eyes could not reach. You saw the closed doors. You saw the delayed answers. You felt the financial pressure that made you wonder how much longer you could keep standing. You felt the emotional heaviness that came without warning, the relational confusion that left you questioning who was safe, who was sincere, and who was sent. You endured repeated disappointment until disappointment started trying to become your expectation. But hear me clearly, beloved. What you saw was not the whole battle, and what you felt was not the final word. I was moving against blocks you could name, and I was moving against blocks you never knew existed. I was dealing with wrong timing that would have made a right thing become a burden. I was exposing hidden motives in others before those motives could attach themselves to your next season. I was restraining spiritual interference that tried to cloud your discernment, delay your obedience, and make you suspicious of every blessing I sent. I was confronting self-sabotage in you with tenderness, not to shame you, but to free you from the pattern of running from what you prayed for when it finally came near. I was touching the fear of receiving, the fear that said if something good comes, it will only leave, only hurt, only disappoint, only prove again that you should not have hoped. I was healing wounds that trained you to expect rejection even when I was preparing acceptance. You thought some things were simply falling apart, but I was separating what could not go with you. You thought some people left because you were no longer valuable, but I was removing access before their confusion became your compass. You thought some opportunities collapsed because you failed, but I was closing what would have required you to shrink, compromise, perform, or stay bound to an old version of yourself. You thought some plans stalled because heaven had gone still, but I was stopping what could not enter the place I am taking you. Not every loss was loss. Not every delay was denial. Not every closed door was punishment. Some doors closed because they were too narrow for the healed version of you I am bringing forth. I stepped into conversations you never heard. I stood in rooms where your name was mentioned and your presence was not invited. I touched decisions you were not allowed to see. I interrupted agreements that would have placed weight on your shoulders that I never assigned. I moved through dreams you never remembered and warnings you never understood. I shifted hearts. I restrained hands. I exposed intentions. I delayed signatures. I confused the plans of those who were trying to use your weariness against you. I did not need you to be present in every room for me to defend you in those rooms. I did not need you to know every detail for my protection to be complete. And yes, my child, some of my protection felt painful because removal often feels like rejection before it reveals itself as rescue. When people pulled away, you wondered what was wrong with you. When the door did not open, you wondered if you had missed me. When the answer stayed delayed, you wondered whether your faith had failed. When the pressure increased, you wondered whether you were being buried instead of built. But I was not burying you. I was clearing the ground around you. I was not stripping you to shame you. I was removing interference so you could receive what is next without old voices speaking over my instruction. Do not grieve forever over what could not remain. Do not keep calling back what I moved out of your path. Do not keep rehearsing the collapse as though the collapse had final authority. What fought you did not have final authority. What blocked you was not stronger than my hand. What delayed you was not greater than my timing. What opposed you was not able to cancel what I assigned. If this word reached you after all the noise, after all the pressure, after all the confusion, after all the heaviness, then understand what I am proving to you right now. The block did not win. I have been removing the visible and the invisible. I have been breaking the agreement between your heart and fear. I have been loosening the grip of rejection from your expectation. I have been teaching you that closed does not always mean cursed, delayed does not always mean denied, and quiet does not always mean absent. I have been preparing you to receive without flinching, to walk forward without dragging old suspicion behind you, to trust that when I clear a path, you do not have to keep checking the ground for traps I have already removed. So breathe again, beloved. Let relief enter the place where anxiety has been sitting. Let your spirit receive this truth. I saw the block, and I removed it. I saw the trap, and I dismantled it. I saw the interference, and I silenced it. I saw the wound, and I began healing it before you even had language for it. You are not standing here because the opposition was light. You are standing here because my protection was stronger. You are not hearing this because nothing tried to stop it. You are hearing this because I decided it would reach you, and when I assign a word defined, my child, no visible wall and no hidden resistance can outrank my will. Now, my child, understand why this reached you now. It did not reach you merely to soothe the place that has been tired. It did not arrive only to make you feel seen for a moment and then leave you unchanged. I have comforted you because you needed comfort, but I am also calling you because your decision window has opened. This is the place where reassurance becomes alignment. This is the place where knowing I removed the block must become more than relief in your emotions. It must become obedience in your steps. Do not go back into the old fear after I have brought you through this much. Do not return to the agreement with rejection that taught you to expect disappointment before you even see what I am doing. Do not hide behind delay and call it wisdom when I am asking you to move with surrendered trust. There is a difference between waiting under my instruction and postponing out of fear. There is a difference between discernment and self-protection. There is a difference between patience and retreat. I have been patient with you, beloved, but I am speaking clearly now because the hour in front of you requires a response. Release the belief that I forgot you. Release it now. Do not carry it another step. Release the need to understand every delay before you trust me again. Release the demand to see the full map before you obey the next instruction. I know the part of you that wants proof before peace, certainty before surrender, explanation before movement. I know why you became guarded. I know why you learned to brace yourself. I know why hope began to feel dangerous. But I did not bring this word through resistance, so you could stand at the threshold and choose the same fear that once kept you bound. You were chosen for this hour, not because you are flawless, not because you have never doubted, not because your hands have never trembled, but because I called you and I have covered you. I knew the weakness you would bring to this moment. I knew the questions that would still be in your chest. I knew the memories that would try to pull you backward. And still I appointed this time. Still I arranged this encounter. Still I cleared the way. Still I said, let this word reach my child now, because now their heart is ready to hear what fear could not allow them to receive before. The next door is obedience. Hear me with tenderness and with gravity. The block was removed, but you must step. The interference was silenced, but you must listen. The road was cleared, but you must walk. Do not ask me to remove what you keep rebuilding with doubt. Do not ask me to open what you refuse to approach. I am not calling you to reckless striving. I am calling you to faithful movement. Pray again. Prepare again. Discipline your attention again. Bring your habits back under surrender. Let your yes become visible in the small places before the large door fully swings open. This is not the hour to rehearse old stories. This is not the hour to keep saying, what if it fails? What if I am rejected? what if I heard wrong? What if nothing changes? My child, what if I have been right here? What if the delay was protection? What if the removal was mercy? What if the very thing you thought was proof that you were blocked was actually the evidence that I was clearing the path? Let faith answer louder than fear. Let trust rise where suspicion has been sitting. Let obedience become the sound your life makes in response to my voice. And if you receive this, do not keep it hidden inside only as a private feeling. Make it a declaration. Write these words in the comments as an agreement before me. God cleared the way for me, not as empty words, not as performance, not as a phrase without surrender, but as a personal declaration that you are no longer blocked from hearing and receiving what I am speaking. Say it because fear does not get the final word. Say it because delay did not cancel you. Say it because the resistance did not win. Say it because I brought this word to you at the threshold, and I am calling you to step forward in faith. My child, now listen with a steady heart. Do not rebuild what I just removed. Do not use your own fear as bricks and your old thoughts as mortar. Do not return to the same doubt, the same comparison, the same distraction, the same compromise, the same emotional hiding that once helped form the wall you begged me to take down. I removed what stood against you, but I will not force you to surrender the habits you keep protecting. I can clear the path, beloved, but you must stop dragging the old barrier back into the road. Hear me with love, not condemnation. I am not speaking to shame you. I am speaking because I know how quickly a wounded heart can confuse familiar pain with safety. I know how easily you can return to overthinking because stillness feels uncertain. I know how quickly you can compare your pace to someone else's and decide, I must be late. I know how temptation whispers when you are tired, how compromise dresses itself as relief, how distraction calls itself rest, how emotional hiding calls itself wisdom. But I did not remove the block so you could rebuild it with smaller pieces and call it protection. Some barriers were mine to break, and I broke them. Some doors were mine to close, and I closed them. Some interference was mine to silence, and I silenced it. Some people, patterns, delays, and unseen pressures were mine to move, and I moved them. But some things are yours to surrender. The resentment you keep rehearsing, the fear you keep agreeing with, the impulse to react before you pray, the habit of assuming the worst before you listen for my peace, the need to disappear emotionally when obedience requires honesty. These are not chains I removed so you could polish them and put them back on. Guard your attention, my child. Not every voice deserves entrance. Not every opinion deserves a seat at the table of your discernment. Not every fear deserves agreement. Not every delay deserves to be interpreted as defeat. You have called too many intrusions, signs. You have called too many anxieties, warnings. You have allowed too many unhealed places to explain my timing to you. But I am teaching you now to hear differently. A delay does not mean I changed my mind. A closed door does not mean you are rejected. A quiet hour does not mean you are uncovered. Let my voice interpret your season before fear writes the meaning for you. Before you react, pray. Before you assume, pause. Before you move, listen. Before you answer from pain, come near to me. Let peace become confirmation more than panic. Let the stillness I give you carry more authority than the urgency your fear creates. If you feel driven, frantic, desperate to prove, desperate to force, desperate to be seen, stop and return to me. I do not lead my children by torment. I do not guide you by confusion. I may stretch your faith, but I will not abandon your heart. I may call you beyond comfort, but I will not call you away from my presence. I am in the room with you now. I am not far from the place where your thoughts are moving. I am near enough to steady your breathing, near enough to touch the tremble in your chest, near enough to remind you that the next step requires trust more than explanation. You do not need the full map to obey the next instruction. You do not need every answer before you surrender the fear. You do not need to understand why I removed it this way before you honor what I removed. So do not rebuild the block through suspicion. Do not rebuild it through bitterness. Do not rebuild it through comparison, delay, compromise, or the old story that says you are safer when you expect less. Stand where I have cleared space. Walk where I have opened ground. Keep your spirit aligned with me. Let your yes remain clean. Let your attention remain guarded. Let your heart remain soft. I have brought you to this place with intention, and now I am asking you to protect the freedom I have given you by refusing to partner again with what I have already removed. And now, my child, I want you to understand something about the door that is beginning to open. It may not look the way you expected. It may not arrive with the sound you imagined. It may not begin with the full answer, the full restoration, the full visible breakthrough, or the dramatic sign your heart kept asking me to send. Sometimes, the first movement of an opening door is not noise. Sometimes, it is clarity returning. Sometimes it is courage rising where fear had been sitting. Sometimes it is the quiet confirmation that settles in your spirit and says, I can hear him again. I can trust him again. I can take the next step. Do not despise the small shift because it does not yet look like the complete promise. Do not overlook the first light because it has not yet become noon. I am opening this differently than you expected because I am not only bringing you to an outcome, I am restoring your ability to walk with me without being ruled by panic. The breakthrough may begin with one conversation, one unexpected person, one delayed answer suddenly making sense, one burden lifting from your chest, one old fear losing its grip, one door that once seemed sealed beginning to move in a way you cannot explain. Beloved, pay attention to the quiet openings. Pay attention to the peace that returns without needing permission from your circumstances. Pay attention to the courage that feels unfamiliar but holy. You thought the miracle would only be the thing changing outside of you. But I am telling you now, one of the first miracles is that you are hearing me again without the old interference drowning me out. The fact that this word reached you is a sign. The fact that your heart stayed long enough to receive it is a sign. The fact that the noise did not swallow this moment is a sign. I reached you through the feed, through the timing, through the resistance, through the heaviness, through the doubts, through the very place where distraction tried to rule your attention. If I can bring my voice to you here, I can reach you anywhere. If I can find you through this, I can guide you through what comes next. No weapon formed against your assigned path will prosper when you remain covered and aligned. As it is written, no weapon formed against you shall prosper, and I speak that over the opening in front of you now. Not every attack will disappear, but it will not have final authority. Not every voice will agree with what I am doing, but their disagreement will not cancel my instruction. Not every step will feel easy, but you will not walk it alone. Stay under my covering. Stay near my voice. Stay humble enough to be redirected and courageous enough to obey. I am guarding what I open, but you must remain where my peace can lead you. The door is opening differently because I am healing more than your situation. I am healing your expectation. I am teaching you not to measure my faithfulness by familiar patterns. I am showing you that I can use what you did not plan, who you did not expect, timing you did not choose, and a path you did not design. I can send confirmation through a whisper, through a closed door, through a restored desire, through sudden understanding, through an invitation, through a release, through the simple knowing that you are no longer standing where fear left you. So lift your eyes, my child. You are not overlooked. You are not unreachable. You are not too late. You are not outside the reach of my voice. The same God who routed this word through every barrier can route provision, wisdom, help, and direction to you in ways you have not considered. I have not lost access to your life. I have not lost authority over your future. I have not lost the power to redirect you, restore you, protect you, and bring you through the door at the appointed time. Receive the shift without demanding that it look like your old imagination. Let me surprise you with my mercy. Let me confirm what I am doing by the peace that returns, the clarity that sharpens, the courage that rises, and the door that begins to move after you thought it would never open again. This is not the end of my work in you. This is the sound of movement beginning. Stay aligned, beloved. Stay covered. Stay close. The door is opening, and I am teaching you how to walk through it with a heart that can hear me clearly. Now receive this word, my child. Do not only hear it with your ears. Receive it in the place where fear has been arguing. Receive it in the place where delay tried to define you. Receive it in the place where disappointment built expectations I never authored. Let this word settle deeper than the noise, deeper than the memory, deeper than the voice that told you nothing would change. I reached you. I cleared the way for this moment. I brought you to the threshold, and now I am calling you to release the fear and walk forward with me. Father, in my name, I speak over the one listening right now. Remove every remaining block in their heart, every place where fear has hardened what you are trying to heal. Remove every remaining block in their mind, every anxious loop, every accusing thought, every false conclusion that has been built from pain instead of truth. Remove every remaining block in their home, every atmosphere of confusion, heaviness, tension, disorder, and unrest that has tried to make peace feel far away. Remove every remaining block in their relationships, every counterfeit connection, every hidden manipulation, every attachment that keeps pulling them backward, every voice that sounds familiar but does not carry your peace. Remove every remaining block in their calling. Remove the hesitation that came from rejection. Remove the shame that came from delay. Remove the fear of being seen, the fear of failing, the fear of starting again, the fear of obeying without applause. Clear their spiritual hearing, Father. Let them know your voice again. Let them recognize your peace again. Let them discern what is from you and what is only pressure wearing the language of opportunity. Let the wrong doors lose their pull, and let the right door carry confirmation that settles their spirit. I pray protection over them now. Protect them from distraction after this message ends. Protect them from confusion that tries to return when the screen goes quiet. Protect them from delay that disguises itself as wisdom when you are asking for obedience. Protect them from counterfeit voices that imitate confirmation but carry unrest. Protect them from fear that tries to come back and rebuild what you just removed. Let no weapon formed against their assigned path prosper. Let no hidden interference outrank your authority. Let no old pattern reclaim the ground you have cleared. And I declare over you, my beloved child, the routed word has arrived. The appointed hour is active. The blocked path is clearing. The fear that followed you into this moment does not have permission to lead you out of it. You are stepping into obedience with peace. You are not leaving this encounter empty. You are leaving covered. You are leaving steadied. You are leaving with a clearer ear, a softer heart, and a stronger yes. The delay did not cancel you. The silence did not bury you. The resistance did not win. I reached you because I intended to reach you, and what I have cleared, you must now walk through with faith. So breathe, my child. Let the fear go. Let the old accusation go. Let the need to control every detail go. Walk through the door I am opening, not with panic, not with striving, not with the old suspicion, but with the quiet confidence of one who knows I have been present the entire time. If you need me to clear a specific block in your life, leave your prayer request in the comments so this community can stand with you in faith. Do not carry it alone in silence. Let agreement rise around the place where you need breakthrough. And share this with someone who has been asking why I have been silent, because this word may be part of the route I am using to reach them too. Subscribe if you want to keep receiving these appointed messages when I place them in your path. And as your declaration of faith, write these words. I receive the word God sent to me. Say it with surrender. Say it with expectation. Say it because I have reached you. I have cleared the way, and I am calling you forward now. Amen.